This is OBX Hatman here, so I'm going to show you a little bit about how I solder these butt connectors onto these wires. As you see, I've got my positives already done, labeled. This is the male side, and I'm going to show you my grounds that are going to go on here. Don't twist the wires, that's one thing. And when you put them inside of each other, you want to press in and you want to get a good solid mesh of the wire connecting with each other before you do the solder. Already got the heat shrink tubes already on my ground wire down here, far away from the butt connector. And it don't matter which one's ground. So, see, these are not twisted. Neither one of them are twisted. Put one side in, then take the other side, put that in, and in the middle, where they come together, make sure you have a good solid connection, and then push them into each other as tight as you can, so that they kind of interlock a little bit. Now I'll take the heat gun, and what I do is I heat the ends first to seal the ends onto the insulation of the wire with a low heat. Then I go back and hit the middle with a high heat to get the solder to melt, and I leave it on there for about 5 to 10 seconds. This is the low heat. And I go to the middle, do the high heat. Now I see the solder starting to melt. Keep it on there, that way it can go all the way to the center. And shut it off. And let it get cool. Then we'll move to the other one. As long as it's somewhat cool to the touch, still a little bit on the warm side, we can go ahead and probably start working on this one. You got to kind of look inside and see where they touch together. You want the bulk of one wire hitting the bulk of the other, so you get a good solid push in. And after you get them pushed together good, make sure you slide your solder to be over the centermost point of both the wires in the middle. So you see a little bit of copper exposed on the left and the right side of that joint. Let that get cold. And this will be the final termination that I have to do to get the lights in a fully waterproof enclosure. Slide these up. These have adhesive inside of them, so what I do is I typically just heat them at max heat. Provides very fast seal. You ain't even got to spin it or nothing like that. It heats up the whole wire, so once it starts to shrink, it just basically seals onto itself. And just make sure you're using like barely bigger heat shrink in your wire, and enough to get over the connectors. And you'll see that adhesive come out on the end. And that means she is watertight. I'll let that cool off, get the connection going, make sure my lights work, and that'll be it. OBX Hat Man out.